It was 12:05 a.m., December 3, 1984. In the city of Bhopal, India, most people were sound asleep. By sunrise, 500,000 people would be exposed to a lethal, invisible cloud. And the company responsible? They were already fast asleep, thousands of miles away from the panic. This wasn't a natural disaster. It was the predictable, inevitable result of a massive corporation deciding that human lives were just a line item on a quarterly budget sheet. This is the story of the Bhopal Gas Tragedy, the benchmark for industrial negligence. To understand the disaster, you have to understand the product. The Union Carbide India Limited plant was established to manufacture pesticides for India's growing agricultural sector. It was supposed to be a miracle of modern industrialization. At the heart of the facility was a chemical compound called methyl isocyanate, or MIC. It's incredibly volatile, highly reactive, and terrifyingly toxic. Under normal circumstances, it's kept cold, stable, and under pressure. But from the very beginning, the plant was a contradiction. It was a high-tech, American-designed facility operating in an environment where the local infrastructure, training, and maintenance protocols were struggling to keep up. The plant managers knew they were sitting on a powder keg. They had raised concerns about safety, but at Union Carbide headquarters in the U.S., the narrative was different. It's safe, don't worry. They were wrong. By 1984, the plant was hemorrhaging money. The market for pesticides had dropped, and the facility became a liability. So what do you do when you need to cut costs? You start stripping away the expenses that seem unnecessary. The refrigeration system that kept the MIC tanks at a stable temperature, it was shut down to save on electricity costs. The safety systems designed to neutralize gas leaks, they were turned off or under-maintained. The alarm systems that were supposed to warn the surrounding neighborhoods, they were often broken or simply ignored. This wasn't a single mistake. It was a culture of institutional neglect. Staff were reduced. Maintenance was deferred. Internal memos warned of the danger, but those warnings were silenced by the pressure to maintain profitability. The company had essentially stripped the brakes off a speeding car, trusting that the driver would never have to stop. Then came December 2nd. A routine pipe cleaning operation went wrong. Water, which reacts violently with methyl isocyanate, entered one of the storage tanks. The pressure began to rise. A tank containing 40 tons of MIC began to heat up. It wasn't a slow leak. It was an explosive reaction. The safety systems that were supposed to catch this, the scrubbers and the flare towers, they were either offline or failed to activate. The gas didn't just escape. It rolled out over the city like a heavy, toxic blanket. Because the gas is heavier than air, it stayed close to the ground, sinking into the shanty towns that had grown up around the factory wall. People woke up to the sensation of their eyes burning. They gasped for air, but their lungs were filling with fluid. Thousands died in their sleep. Others fled into the streets, only to inhale more of the poison. It was a scene of absolute, incomprehensible chaos. For those few hours, Bhopal wasn't a city. It was an open-air death trap. When the dust settled, the human cost was staggering. Thousands dead, hundreds of thousands permanently disabled. And what was the corporate response? For years, Union Carbide engaged in a massive legal battle to minimize their liability. They shifted blame, questioned the evidence, and fought to pay as little as possible. When a settlement was finally reached, it was a fraction of what the victims were promised. The plant was abandoned, left to rot, but the chemicals, the toxic legacy, remain in the soil and the groundwater to this day. They didn't just walk away from the disaster. They walked away from the people they destroyed. Bhopal stands as the ultimate case study on what happens when corporate policy prioritizes quarterly profits over public safety. It's a haunting reminder that sometimes the most dangerous thing in a city isn't a criminal, it's the company across the street. operating in the shadows, waiting for the day the safety systems finally fail. And if you think this is a thing of the past, look closer at the industrial giants of today. The cost of efficiency is rarely paid by the corporation. It's almost always paid by someone else.